Hey, and welcome to another episode of Soul Flow Conversations. I am your host, Dedrick, the Cookie Man, and also coming soon, your co-host, Miss Jessica Fields. And tonight's topic is going to be starting with social media. How much is too much? We're seeing a whole lot of different things on social media, and quite frankly, sometimes it's a bit much. Some people are doing the most. Some people are saying the most, regardless to how much it doesn't make sense, regardless to what they sound like, and whatnot. And some people are just really making straight up fools out of themselves because they just have an opinion. And the crazy thing about opinions, everyone has one. You know what the original phrase is, but the thing is that just because you got an opinion, it doesn't necessarily mean you should voice it. You might want to think things through before you actually open your mouth and say anything in that regard and whatnot. So, welcome, Mrs. Fields. All right. She got the pageant hands. All right. She got the. Oh, okay. I see you. Okay. I love it.
Good evening.
I love it. So, I
Keep
was just
talking.
saying,
I'm gonna set myself up.
absolutely. I was just telling everybody what the topic for tonight is. The starting topic, because we segue a lot. We segue into a lot of things. So, and social media and how much is too much. As I was saying that a lot of people, just because you have an opinion, doesn't necessarily means it's a valid one. And a lot of people say, who died and made you the opinion king? Well, nobody. But we also know that a lot of people just like to talk and hear themselves talk. And that's the reason why social media, since its advent, has spurned a whole lot of internet bullies, a lot of individuals who just love talking just to hear themselves talk because nobody else is going to listen to it. A lot of the times, people go unchecked in their real lives, and then they come to social media, and when they post things and someone have pushback or they have something to say about what is what the reality of it is, they get upset. They get really, really upset. And I've seen that so many times over the past decade. Like people just they want their word to be the word. And my thing is that and Jessica's the same way. If you come to me with some information after I've presented my opinion or thought process or perspective, and you come to me with some information that totally washes out what I just said, or it helps me put things in a different perspective, I'd be the very first person to say I was wrong. I didn't see it that way. And that's just the way it's supposed to be. However, you got people who like to talk because they like to hear themselves, and then they think their word is absolute. And you will see it in a lot of different posts because they never say some men, they never say some women. They always say men or women. And then when you got people like myself who's going to go ahead and get at them for doing stuff like that, because all of us are not the same, they get in their feelings. Well, you can always walk past my post. No. I know what I can do, but I'm not going to. It's a public post. It's in the public eye now, and I'm going to choose to respond to your dumb post, and I'm going to tell you why it's dumb. Like for me, that's how I do it. Now, a lot of people don't. Some people do walk past it. Cool, you can do that. But if you post something on the internet for public consumption, you cannot, in good consciously, get upset with the responses that you get. The internet, social media, is not your personal diary. That's why they got pages and stuff for you. You can type all that stuff, but when you make it your personal diary, you can't get mad at the pushback that you get because you put it out there. You're gonna get what you get. You're gonna get all the smoke, and whether it's bad or good. So if you're gonna put your business out there, you can't consciously, in good consciousness, get mad at somebody for telling you the truth about your situation from an unbiased perspective. You can't get mad. So, and I've seen this over and over and over and over again, and it's just like it's crazy, and whatnot. So I'm gonna stop. I know you got something to say about it, and whatnot.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely correct. If I post all my business online, if I say, "Oh, girl, I went and cheated on my husband and now I'm pregnant," what should I do? And if 700 women jump in the comments and be like, "You a fool and you for the streets," I can't get mad at them because I posted my business online, right? Social media is not for everything. Like you'll be very hard pressed unless I'm joking around about my husband. Like every time I turn around, he can't find his keys,
Right, right.
or he left his socks on the floor. I picked him up, but he says, "Get on my nerves." But other than that, anything that happens privately in my home stays in my home,
Mm-hmm.
and we deal with it at home.
Right.
Uh, Everything is not for social media.
Nope.
It's not. And like you said, and if you post it and then you start getting responses or feedback that you don't like, maybe you should just take the time to listen to what everybody has to say. Because if the majority of the comments toward your situation that you posted is telling you that you're wrong, then maybe you need to self reflect. So, I mean, I guess it can be a good thing. It's cheaper than therapy, I suppose.
True.
uh, so I guess maybe it could be a good thing if that person has the capability to receive the message.
Right.
If they just go on there thinking that they're right, and even if 700 people say that you're wrong, if you still think that 100 people said you're right, so those 100 people are right because they're aligned with what you think you're right about, then it doesn't really help you. But if you do that and you say, "Hey, wait a minute, all these people telling me that I'm wrong, so maybe I need to self-reflect and fix something that I did or I can do better." So again, I mean, I guess it could be a good thing. I don't do it personally. My personal business stays my personal business. But yeah, I do. I will say though, everything isn't for social media. I'm on social media for laughs, and I've made some great friends throughout the years, such as Dedrick, for example. Maurice, don't tell him I said I like him like a friend because I won't live that one down. Timotheus, Morphine. So I've gotten to know a lot of good people through this app. But at the same time, again, it's not because we trauma bonded. It's just that we connected in a way. So social media could be good if you use it in the right way.
That's true, and I can vibe with you on that because honestly, when it comes to that, it depends on how your mind is wired, because you can choose to take all the criticism or all the pushback that you're getting in a positive way and own your stuff, because that's the biggest part of a lot of stuff is people not owning or being accountable for what it is that happened or they put out there or whatever, and they just can't see the error in their ways. And I was on Instagram. I had I don't know how I came across this video, but I'm sitting there and it was a panel of young ladies and young men, and they were talking and stuff like that, and the woman would not stop talking. The men are literally telling her the truth when it comes to men, and she's steadily talking, not even listening to anything that's being said. And one of the guys, he said, "You know what, bro? I give up. I can't do this, man. I can't even, because she won't stop." And it was like he's telling her the truth. And when I say the truth, I know there's going to be some women out there as well. What the truth according to who? Listen, if you always have pushback just for the sake of having pushback, and you're not going to listen to anybody else's perspective, why are you even there? Why are you even on the show? Why are you even responding? Because obviously you don't value anything men say. Obviously you don't value anything that's not coming out of your own mouth. And then when someone tells you from what they're seeing, and even there were women on the panel that was, and you can tell by the expressions that they were agreeing with the guys as to her behavior. And it's even in the comment thread, people were saying, you know, yeah, she's all the way inappropriate. Like she's all the way out of line. Like she, you know, and she would not receive it. It just bounced on one right off her forehead into the abyss. And it was just like, if you're not going to listen, what are you even on the panel for? Just to be seen? And then she's talking about, well, and if you're looking for me, you can reach me at on IG at on this. And I'm sitting here and I respond, ain't nobody looking for you, hon. Ain't nobody about to look for you. Okay, let's just go ahead and kill that right now. Ain't nobody trying to look for you, other than other toxic women. That's the only other person who's trying to look for you. Cause ain't no dude looking for you. Ain't no man looking for you. Like what for to do what? Be frustrated his whole life? Like and it's crazy to me how, and I wonder, and I always wonder if these women go back and look at these clips and say, wow, I really sound crazy. Like I wonder if they even self-reflect at all.
I hope they do. They probably don't. And as I always say, I'm a different breed of woman than those women.
Yeah, we know. We
know. Like, I do try to put myself in their shoes because I'm still a woman, but I just have a lot of more logic than a lot of other women versus emotional or attention seeking. Like I really don't care who sees me, what sees me, who talks to me, who doesn't. So like I don't need attention. I don't need validation. But unfortunately, a lot of women and men too. So let's not just say it's just women, but men too. We seek validation so much that just being able to get on a podcast and have your voice heard, for many is just, I want to be heard because I have something to say and I need people to hear it. Whether it's right or wrong doesn't matter because it's right to them. They just want you to hear how they feel. That's the emotional side. You know, even here, there's been times I've said I stand corrected. You're right. Yep.
I remember.
You're right. I didn't view it in that way, or I never thought about it in that way. You know what? You're very right, and I stand corrected. But you know, unfortunately, a lot of people in this day and age, they don't like to be corrected from the get-go. So imagine if you can't even correct a behavior. You think you can correct a thought?
Right.
A thought process?
Right.
You can't correct that because you can't even correct behavior.
Nope.
And the behavior starts with a thought process. You know, so again, it's like, you know, when we get up here, like I love doing this show. I love doing the show. I love talking to you, Maurice, when, you know, other people come on. And but I really genuinely do it because I feel that I have an unbiased view and that I can look at it from one way. I can look at it from another way. I can give my perspective. And then again, like I said, and if you bring me facts and say, Jessica, you're wrong, I'll be like, ooh, damn, I was wrong. My bad, y'all. Let me jot that down so I don't say that mess again, you know? But
how painful was that, Jessica? How on a scale of 1 to 10, how painful was that?
It wasn't painful at all. It was like zero.
What? Wait a minute.
It's like a 0. It's not even a 1 to me. It's not even a 1 to me because I'm human. I don't know everything, and I haven't walked in other people's shoes. I haven't lived other people's lives, so I can have my opinion based on how I've lived my life, the things that I've gone through, my circumstances. But then somebody can come and tell me, well, these were my circumstances, and this is my experience, and this is what I believe. And I'll be like, you know what? If I were in your circumstance, I would probably feel the same way. I might not agree because we're in different circumstances, but that doesn't mean that I can't agree, if that makes sense.
I understand what you mean.
No.
So I mean, so for me, this is something I have discussed so many years and stuff like that. And it's just like, it gets worse. And it seems like it's just getting worse and just getting worse. And I'm seeing things on the internet, and I'm just like, why is this here? Like, I'm not understanding. What are you? And the thing is, in relation to what we were just talking about, my thing is that when you put the stimulus out there, the stimuli, or whatever you want to call it, when you put the subject matter out there, whether it be a video, whether it be a picture, whether it be a thought, you have to consider that what your thought is not going to be something that is going to be easily consumed by somebody. And a lot of folks, they like saying, oh, how grown they are, or whatever the case is. Well, guess what? Grown comes with responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Because when you call yourself grown is a behavior pattern. It is a characteristic of who you are. Period. This is what it is. This is what represents you. So when you put yourself out there and then tell other people, oh, you can't judge me. Only God can judge me. Excuse me, you a lie. Who told you that? Tupac? Because if that's where you're taking it from and riding it, you've lost your mind. Try walking out of your house and nothing on, and see how that work out for you. Try walking out of your house yelling and assaulting people. See how that works out for you. See if judgment is going to be placed on you. You try any of that stuff, being disrespectful to your significant other for any particular course of time. Try being abusive. You think you're going to be judged? I promise you will be. That's the reason why you have to be careful about what you say and what you do. A lot of folks think that just because they're an adult, they can just do whatever. No, that's not how that works. In general, we have the freedom to do what we want, but should we? No, I don't think we should, because that's what governs your character. That's what governs everything, people's outlook on you. And you can say that you don't care what people think all you want. I promise you do.
Well, that goes back to the infamous saying, just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should.
Absolutely.
You know, absolutely. I can, if I wanted to, I could put on some skimpy clothes and poke my butt out and make pictures and post them on social media, right? I can do it.
Uh-huh.
But I'm a wife and a mother.
Right.
So should I do it? No. That's not even a question. And let's X out Billy for a minute. Even if I wasn't married, I have children. Mm-hmm. Social media is forever. Once you put it on there, it's gone. It's forever.
It's forever.
So when your child hits 18 and they sign up for Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is, and they start scrolling and they see pictures of you doing all this and doing all that and videos of you doing this and that, your children are going to see that. Hell, if the technology lasts as long as I think it is, your great grandkids could see it too.
Yep.
So you have to be careful what you put on. Let me tell you a story. Billy does not have Facebook. Mm-hmm. Billy does not have a single social media platform on his phone.
Okay.
And the reason being is that there was two incidents. I'll make it quick. One, when we first started dating, he would post pictures of me and him, and he got a couple of snark comments. He kind of looked past that. But then the second one was a teacher. It wasn't even something he did. A teacher got fired, literally fired, because there was a picture of him at a bar with a cigar and a drink.
Wow.
He got fired for that. And after that, I remember Billy shut he just closed Facebook down. He said, because I mean, you know, it could be anything. Me and you could just be out at, you know, playing pool, having a beer. And next thing you know, I'm in the office and I'm getting fired or reprimanded.
Right.
You know, so I say that to say also think of your occupation. Think of what you're committed to and what you're about. You know, we expect Aquanisha and Walmart Tavius, they gonna do what they do. But you know, if you're Dedrick, if you're Jessica, if you're Billy, if you're Maurice, you gotta you still have to. It's almost like a resume. It's almost like a. That's why they call it a profile.
Mm-hmm.
It profiles you, who you are, and everything that you post and everything that you do is pretty much a representative of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you see so many times when something happens, they go, what's the first thing that they do? They go to social media. Let's pull up his post. Let's pull up her post.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, all she did was twerk and smoke Black and Milds, and he was standing there holding a gun.
Mm-hmm.
You might not have never shot a gun in your life, but you holding one.
Right.
So again, you just gotta be very wary about what you post online.
That's true.
You really do.
And that's or you remember when we were talking about the OnlyFans trend and what's going on and stuff like that? These women, they don't understand. Like I seen one woman she was brought to tears when she was told that she's not going to be the high value and high net worth man picked. And she's like, well, I'm a millionaire and only have one child and whatever. So why would you say that I'm not going to be what he picks? He's like, listen, if that guy has the opportunity or the option to choose between a millionaire chick who shows off every nook and cranny and all her private goodies and everything else that she does on OnlyFans, and on top of that, she has a child already, and choosing another chick who does not make as much, who is attractive, why would he choose you? And that other one doesn't have any kids. That other one isn't on OnlyFans. That other one is not going to embarrass him to the public. So which one do you think he's going to choose? And she literally got up and she left out of the room crying. And the thing is that a lot of them don't understand. For just like you just said, the internet is forever. Do you know how much things that you have to go through to get all your crap removed off the internet? And even then, somebody has already saved it. Somebody has already saved your videos, your pictures, and all that good stuff. They've already screenshot something you shouldn't have said. They've already done it in the moment that they saw it. So that makes it even more tough. Now, just imagine. Just let me say that real quick. Just imagine your child is getting up in age. He's, let's just say, middle school to high school, and one of his peers saw his mom on the internet and took a picture and or saved the video, however way he could do it. Do you not understand how that will affect your child and his whole scholastic career? That's going to follow him. But you're not worried about that. You're worried about money. You're not worried about nothing else.
Never.
So I'll wait till you get back. So it's very important what you do on the internet and stuff like that, because perception is everything. I don't care if you say, well, I'm a nice person. Okay, well, what I see on your profile tells me that you're a party chick. You look like you're promiscuous because of what you're doing. Every picture I see, your butt is facing the camera. Like your breasts are almost popping out of your pictures on every picture. Like, what am I supposed to think? But you telling me you're such a nice person.
Well, what I was gonna add, I remember one year, One year I was going up for district manager, and I made a post. It was something funny. It wasn't even something like, it wasn't even personal. It was like one of those memes you share about work, like when you pull up and the building is still standing and the guy's sitting there crying in the car.
Yeah.
My district manager called me and said, I would stop doing that if I were you. And I said, what are you talking about? She said, I saw what you shared on Facebook. She says, I thought it was funny, but because you're going up for a promotion, I suggest you don't make those types of posts. And I was like, damn, y'all really be talking to me like that?
Right.
And she was like, yeah. She said, I thought it was funny, but somebody else might not. And think that you don't take your job seriously, or that you really don't like it, that you're not dedicated, et cetera, et cetera. You know, so again, it just goes to show, depending on what you're doing, what you're working with. That would be like you making a post about how much you hate sugar and dough.
Right.
You bake cookies, right? So if you get
Right.
on the internet and say I hate sugar and dough, you're like, but you make cookies, like, so
Right.
how does that make sense?
Right.
So that's another aspect. That's what I was saying before Momo came out here. Momo, I need you to go in the house. Go ahead.
But that's true. That's absolutely true. So I mean, and my thing is I don't understand where it's lost on these individuals who do all of this stuff. This follows you. You're sitting there, unless you're doing feet, okay? Unless you're doing feet for foot fetishes and stuff like that. Do you not understand that that's not going anywhere? Like and you're not thinking about anybody but yourself. And then now you're asking, or you're suggesting that a high value man, and when I say high value, I'll need you to understand what I'm saying to you. I'm talking about a man that is a quality man, who has moral fiber, who has character, who, you know, and stuff like that. I'm not talking about money. Although if I'm talking about money, I'm going to say a high net worth man, because a lot of people get high value and high net worth mixed up, because they're not the same. All right. You can be a high value man and make $50,000. You can be a high net worth man and make multiple six figures. That does not mean that that's a high value man, because his character may be off. You understand? So please understand what the differences are. So when you're talking about, when people mention high value, people roll their eyes simply because they're not understanding what the differences are. There's high value and there's high net worth. Okay, value can be quantified in monetary measures. However, usually when somebody is talking about high value, they're talking about, hell, he got to make six figures. That's not what I see high value to mean. High value means quality from the inside out. And then, yeah, if you start talking about money, oh yeah, that's a high net worth man. That's what you're talking about, because a lot of the times that's what a lot of these young ladies are eyeballing, is somebody who is a high net worth guy. So, you know, they can be taken care of. So they can have a sponsor. So they can, you know, they feel secure or stable. You know what I'm saying? But if that person is not a high value person, his personality, his beliefs, his core beliefs, his primary character, if those things are not high, he's not valuable to anybody. So please make sure you understand the differences between those two things, because they're different.
Well, I would just say, I don't know. The whole high value. I like the wording high quality better than high value. So, for example, my husband is a high quality man. He doesn't make 250,000 a year. He don't make 500,000 a year. But at the end of the day, he does make 250,000 or 500,000 a year, because what he doesn't make monetarily, he makes as a man. He goes to work, he comes home, he takes care of his children, he cuts the grass, he loves his wife, he loves his family. So I'd rather have a high quality man who makes $80,000 a year than have a high value man as far as financial assets that I see 17 times in a month. Because he's always at work and he's always this and he's always that. So ladies need to understand the difference between that too. Money is not everything. Because yeah, you can sit there and choose a high value man in financial aspects, and you're going to have a low quality of life. You might think you have a high quality of life because you have materialistic things, but then at the end of your life, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, well, we didn't go on vacation. We didn't spend time with our kids together. He was always at work. He never really had time for us, and all these other things. So you have to remember that time is more valuable than money.
Mm-hmm.
Like Billy, he paid the bills, he gets it done, he grinds, he makes a good amount of money. But at the end of the day, is he rich? No. But we work together. But at the end of the day, too, it's like I appreciate that you want to fold the towels. I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that when you come home, the children run to you and they want to be up your butt because they just miss their father.
Mm-hmm.
There's not been a day that Billy has missed tucking in his children or waking up to them. Not one.
Mm-hmm.
So we gotta, as women, I just wanted to spin off of that one. As women, we gotta really prioritize what's important. Now, if you're a woman who just wants her hair, nails done, and go on girls trip, and you really don't give a damn about the man, and he's willing to do it, then hey, guess what? Have fun with that. But if you're truly looking for a man that you want to build and grow with and have a family with, I'm not saying that there's no high value men that don't have quality as well, but just remember that they're going to have to spend an excessive amount of time away from you a lot of the times. And if he makes 500,000, you might only get like 80,000 in time, versus him making 80,000 and then you getting what 420,000 in time.
Mm-hmm.
So you just gotta prioritize what you value.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's a it's a trade-off that a lot of women don't think about, because if you want a hardworking man who is making sure that he provides and all that good stuff, there's going to be an allotted time for that. Welcome to the stage, Morphine.
Oh, the wait, my mic was muted. Hey, everybody, how y'all doing?
Good,
Hey
good.
sis,
Welcome, welcome.
welcome.
Am I late? I'm 32 minutes late.
Well, we always late. I was late.
We always late. We
So
do CPT here.
I
All
got
right, cool, because I definitely was on that time. I was just happened to say, let me check my messages. I was in Game World. I'm so sorry.
that's all. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. Because I had to start late because I got home late and stuff like that. So we got started about 9:10 and stuff like that. So 9:15 or something like that.
All right, good love.
Yep. So basically what we were talking about was social media, how much is too much, like, and we were just talking about the things that we've seen. We've talked about the fact that a lot of people, they post a lot of stuff, and then when they don't get the response that they're expecting, they get upset.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're using social media as a diary. We were talking about the fact that the internet is forever. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And what that effect is on your kids, what that effect is on you, as a person. And a lot of times, in most cases with women, when they're doing the OnlyFans thing and stuff like that, or they're putting themselves out there in such a way where they're not thinking about anybody but themselves and money. And they're not thinking about how that could affect their children when their children get to an age to where those kids find their mom on the internet, and now that ride that follows him forever into his senior year and out of school and stuff like that. So it's not really cool. So we were just talking about how social media has affected a lot of different things, and how behavioral patterns, all that kind of stuff is affected. And people are at a point to where they think that you can just do whatever you want to do. You can just
I think
say,
I am a great person to have this conversation with.
uh-huh. Yeah.
Yes, she is.
So that's
Yeah,
just a synopsis of what we were talking, what we're leading into. So yeah.
well, from my anecdotal experience, I never experienced that with my children.
Hmm.
But I was like early OnlyFans, so I
Hmm.
don't know how it is for later in life and things like that. But I will say this: OnlyFans is only like the history of it, the lifespan of it. I think like around the late, maybe like the early 2016s and shit like that. Even now, it is big, but it's still not it's not really getting to like the generation alpha. Like it depends on what type of like what type of surrounding and environment their kids is in. So I could say if your kids is in the suburbs and y'all live a quiet life and everything is surface level and is only what you know is what the people would know, then yeah, I would see how you would get bullied for that. But if you kind of living like in the hood though, no, that wouldn't have the same effect that one or most conservatives would think. I would say that.
Mm-hmm.
And I could say amongst the community of the people that still are adult content creators, let's just say that. Let's say they're adult content creators. They have children. We all got children. We ain't single out here in these streets. And there's couples. You get what I'm saying? Like that thing is bigger than just singles. And I think when we have these conversations, it's not looked at it that way because no one looks deep into that. All they saying is somebody getting exposed on social media on let's say Instagram or Twitter, which is X now, men being exposed. Like they've been doing this thing. It's a whole community out there. And you can shelter your kids quite easier than you could before.
But
Well, here's the
I guess the point that I was making is that pretty much that whatever you put on the internet, like it's forever, and that's what we were hinting at. It's forever. So, like me and this is this is just me. I don't want my sons like. Okay, I'm gonna say this. All right, y'all ready for something? Y'all ready?
I'm sitting down.
Okay, you sitting? Okay, so when me and Billy was like, we was dating and we was having fun, right? We made like a little video, right? Now, don't get me wrong, it's not on the internet. But look, this is how long ago it was. I had burnt it onto a DVD. Look, I had added credits and everything to it and some music. I'm not lying. I'm not lying. My name was Quiet Storm and his was Trickadick.
And they made a whole movie.
But look, here's the thing. But here's the thing, though. Once I had kids, I was cleaning out my closet and I ran across that DVD and I threw it and I broke it like in millions of pieces. And I threw it in the trash because I was like, what if I died tomorrow and my kids start, oh, maybe this is a DVD of us growing up, right? Like, and then they put it in and they see, some unfavorable things. And I'm like,
what,
yeah, no, we gonna throw that away.
parents was adults and grown and did adult things like they doing themselves.
No, I know that, but I still it's just the image. That's mom. Like,
no, that's private. That was weird that you broke that. You were supposed to put that up and put it in the box so you and Billy can watch that shit later. But I think it's totally different when you upload it and you publish it. When you that is content. Now, the thing that like even when it comes to my bat chat people, I always teach them that I learned a lot doing that. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about filming. I learned a lot about lighting. I learned a lot about contracts. I learned a lot because it was a lot more than just sex. But to the exposure of it all, it's just that. Do you understand? That's it. That's it. That's all the person said. Is mom get fucked? Or mom got paid to go to the bar to get shitted on. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going with the extremes here. I'm just going with the extremes here. I would think that the publishing part and the embarrassment part that comes with that would be the issue. But say like in a regular situation, outside exposure, your kid just find out that you did porn. Just regular, you telling them that that's what happened.
Okay, so what are you saying?
I'm saying that would they be so scorned? Would they be so traumatized?
Yes, that's your child. Like here's my whole point. My point is that kids have a way of getting things. And if his mom happens to pop up and he's like, yo, that's Miss Brown. Oh, okay. Kids have ways of screen recording. They have ways of screenshotting. They have ways of capturing the pictures. They got ways of doing all that stuff.
You
Now,
can't do
you
that
might
on
say,
on OnlyFans no more. That's why
sweetie,
I said in the
you can't
early two.
stop.
Yeah, that
You
was
can't.
one
You
thing.
can't. You can't stop screen recording.
Yes,
You
you
can't.
can. You
No.
can. You can try. Go, try
How?
it. Try.
How?
Try it. Try. If you ever got app where you could take a picture, like it's a video, no, a picture editing app, and they have the promos within the app. Like you got to subscribe to it, and you try to use the promos and take a screenshot of that shit, it would not let you do it. It would come up blank.
What I'm saying is, on your phone, your personal cellular phone,
Yes,
that how is that attached to your phone?
it's within the algorithm of the site that you're on. I'm just hipping you to something you probably didn't know. But in 2005, 25, they can't do that shit no more.
Okay, now let's just say this: you
They could
still.
definitely buy it though.
Well, here's the thing: if they're watching it on their little Chromebook, what's to stop them from picking up their phone and recording it with their phone, and it's on their Chromebook? This is what I'm saying. There's multiple ways to get that video or record that video. You can't stop a phone from recording what's on your Chromebook or on your laptop. You can't stop that. My whole point is there are ways that your child can be
Well, yeah, you
affected
could do
in
that.
some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? And if that comes back on your child don't want to freaking see that, and they don't want their peers to see that. So my thing is that when a lot of women do those type things, they're not thinking about the effect that it's going to have on the children because they think that this is a minute thing, it's just little old me. But things
No,
have
we
a funny
don't.
way
We
of
don't
coming
think
around.
that. That's
No,
not what we thinking.
I said
That's not true.
they may
That's not
think that.
true.
Some may
That's
think that.
not true. That's not true. You're talking
Some,
to a
some
woman that did it and
I
that
said
was in the
some may
industry.
think that. All
That's
of them may not.
minute some. That's
Okay.
minute some.
All
But
right.
the majority, like let's talk about the
Okay.
majority that
All
it
right.
would affect. They don't think that way.
Okay.
That's not what they thinking.
What are they thinking?
We're thinking that we're content creators. That's what we're thinking. We're creating content.
Okay.
It's like, that's what we're thinking. Especially OnlyFans girls. They're content creators. They're not the regular models that go out to ghetto gaggers and do XYZ. Those are paid models. Now that's a different situation. Even I had a thought or two about that. Hence why I wanted to produce my own shit. But when you're a content creator, that's a whole new game. Like everything you learn as a content creator, create an adult film, you could take that and apply that to every other content you ever want to create, ever.
I know about that part of things. I'm talking about as it affects your real life, is what I'm saying. And the
You
people that's in
separate it from your real life.
it.
Our
Okay.
kids are separated from that. They're
Okay.
not around it. It's like a gangster separating his crimes away from his family. Yes, they may they not may. They're going to know. They're going to find out. How they
Mm-hmm.
deal with it is not all the same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not defining they will not be traumatized. Some might be, especially if they grew up thinking that they parents was something that they wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, like for example, my Ethan and William, they're what 11 and 12, about to be 12 and 13. They're not oblivious to the fact that mom and dad have sex, right? Matter of fact, like they tease us sometimes. Like we'll be like, okay, we're dropping y'all off at Yaya and Papa house, and we're gonna have a weekend to ourselves. And like William would tell us straight up, please use a condom because, and then he'll look at Monica. He'd be like, because I don't want another one of these, you know. So it's not that they're oblivious to it, but at the same time, it's kind of different when, God forbid, there was some sex tape that I had shared or somebody else took of me and shared, or I put it on OnlyFans voluntarily. And then my son is 16, 17, 18 years old, and his friends be like, yo, ain't this your mom? I ran across her. Like that would offend my son. He knows I have sex, is what I'm trying to say. He knows that he knows all about the birds and the bees, but to physically see it, and then especially like not being with his father. Maybe if he saw it with the father, maybe he'd be like, "Oh my God, let's hurry up and turn that shit off." Okay, but that's dad. At least that's dad, you know. But if there's multiple men or different men or even women or whatever, then it can be like, well, damn, I didn't know you was into all that, ma. And now I'm a little bit embarrassed because my friends are teasing me. So I think what we're saying is like the fact that, you know, all children might not be affected by it, but a lot of them would be if that were to be the case where it would come out.
Yeah, so they would have to be exposed. I think the way that it's worded is like the kid is going to be watching porn one day and and out of nowhere your porn is going to pop up. No, it's not like that. No one is going to know you. You're not going to be in an algorithm. Like, so you're never going to pop up in none of their shit. And kids don't watch amateur porn, so there's that. I'm just saying, someone will have to expose you.
Well, that's not necessarily true, because
Really.
I watched amateur porn as a young teen or growing up. So amateur porn is going to be amateur porn. They're going to be you're going to see professional mixed in with the amateur. All that stuff is mixed
And
in.
I did say, Dedrick, that you
Mhm.
have to get into the algorithm way before I said anything about most kids don't watch amateur porn. You have to get into the algorithm. Just because you upload it doesn't mean they're going to find you. You're not going to be the first person or the last or the fifth or the eighth. You're not going to be the 85th person. No one knows who the fuck you are. They have to be looking for you. That's how algorithms are.
If you put in a category and you're in that category, what's stopping you from popping up in that category?
The people that are more popular than you, the people that got more likes than you, the people that got more views than you, the people that paid to get these views than you didn't. I'm just telling you that what goes in to making these content, like, is logistics in this shit. This is not like posting up a picture on Facebook that goes viral out of fucking nowhere. Like, it's not like that. A lot of OnlyFans models don't make shit, nothing, because they're not in no algorithm. Don't nobody know who them. I can say who I was. I can say my name, and there's millions of people that's not going to know who I was, ever existed. Was never looking for me. I never popped up in their algorithm.
Hmm. Well,
Like the millions of people that would not know who the fuck I am. I am not popular. I am not some big old name. So your mom had to like really be popping. Like, your mom had to be popping.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a chance I would even want to take, because
And that's what I was about to say.
that's
Like, that's just not a chance
just,
I'm willing to take.
things are
Like,
so
It's not
random.
a chance.
Sen-
That's
You,
what y'all thinking. It's a
but you can't
chance,
say
and I'm
there's
telling
not a
you, it's
but
chance. There's always a chance. You
it's
can't say
not
there's
a
there's not a
always a
chance.
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 It's not a chance unless somebody looking for you, brother. Then it's up to chance.
I'm saying, like I said, personally, me, I would not want my son. And for whatever reason, or one of my son's friends, it doesn't have to be his algorithm. It could be the son's algorithm. It could be the uncle, the cousin. Hey, damn, your mama over here on this, and she got her. Yeah, and I'll
It,
be
it,
like, oh God, that would be like for me. I'm just saying for me, if my and like Decker just said, it's not a chance that I'm even if I wanted to do it, which I don't, and that's no disrespect. Even if I
yeah.
wanted to do it, I'd be like, yeah, no, I got kids now. Now, if I didn't have kids and I was just living my own life and I said I want to do that, all right, whatever, because it doesn't affect somebody else potentially. But because it can
It's
potentially affect somebody else, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'll pass on that.
it's always going to affect somebody else. Whether it's your kids, whether it's your parents, whether it's the people that's around you, it's going to affect somebody else.
Hmm.
It's going to affect someone else. We just putting kids on a pedestal.
That's
Which
not
we
effective.
should. Which we should. I'm not saying we
I
shouldn't.
would say,
We're
yeah,
just that's the
I
number one.
should.
Like, but what about my kids? I'm like, bro, it's going to affect somebody. Somebody, it's
I'm
going to
saying,
change somebody's life if they're affected by it.
yeah, I got two sons and a daughter, and I just personally, hell, I be wanting some extra money. And like Dedrick said earlier, like if I didn't have foot surgery, maybe I could do a footsie one. But I don't have foot surgery, so I done jacked my foot all up. Unless I just show my left foot and not my right foot. You know, if
Um,
it's the feet, maybe I can see it. And I know
Jessica,
OnlyFans isn't only about
right,
like
right.
OnlyFans has a lot of different categories. So
Yeah.
They got
OnlyFans
a
is
lot
not
of different.
just
It's not
about.
about sexual encounter. Oh, you like that's that cooking with Kaya shit.
Mm-hmm.
OnlyFans worthy in 2016 and lingerie. Shorty would have racked up just walking around the house, cooking,
Yep.
cleaning, doing
Yep.
regular
Mhm.
shit. She ain't
Yep.
had to show her
Yeah.
whole body or nothing. All
Yep.
she had to do was look sexy to the T.
Hmm.
Sexy,
And that's
feminine. And even today, you can rack up on OnlyFans with that because
That's
it's
all I
well,
want
and
purely
to.
you.
That's
that's
all
why I
I get.
wanted. I just wanted to point out that, since we're speaking about OnlyFans, that it's not just a sexual activity
Right. Right.
fan base. There's all types of different. It could be they like a certain type of earlobe and they're subscribed to it. Like so, OnlyFans
And
is
that's
not
Right.
real.
just
And that's
sexual.
real.
And it's real. And then you don't always have to like sexy to them might be a pinup look. That might be a pencil skirt with the little
Yep.
long stockings, and you
Yep.
gotta wear 6-inch heels. And
Yep.
your little ankle is gonna be hurting now. But this is the content. That's why I said it's about adult content. And adult content does not always have to be physically sexual.
That's
It
true.
does not.
That's true.
So if you're going to be exposed, that it could be used as a weapon no matter what the fuck you did. Because it is adult content.
True.
it,
But that's true
it,
because there's different fetishes. There's so many, like you was talking about with the little pencil skirt or the poodle skirt or whatever,
yeah.
doing different chores around the house, dusting a doorknob. Like people are weird. Like they're weird, and it's just like whatever floats their boat. That's what they're gonna pay for. Um,
Right.
and like that Catch Me Outside chick, like she wasn't no porn star to my knowledge, but she made millions. Like that chick, Catch Me Outside, really?
Yo, dudes couldn't wait to see her have sex being pure. That's what that
Mm.
was. That
Oh,
was a purity thing.
gotcha.
Even though she wasn't, even though she was like, her attitude wasn't pure, because we see her on Dr. Phil. We see
Right,
her on Dr.
right,
Phil. We
right.
know she was a badass kid. But the fact that she was old enough to be, how I'm trying to say this in a way that YouTube won't flag us, for older men to be sexually attracted to her
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
is what made her the coins. Them
mm.
coins
Who
started
is
rolling
this?
in, baby. It was a girl on Dr. Phil, girl. One of them, I'm gonna beat my mama ass, and mama was like, "Yo, listen, I need help. This little girl bad."
Right.
And she was like talking to the audience, like, "Catch me outside, and you can find out."
Oh, the little
And
white girl.
Yeah,
yeah, girl, that girl.
She was like,
yeah,
And I
"Catch me
was,
outside."
yeah.
and I'm
Okay.
explaining to Dedrick, it was a purity thing
Mm,
in her age. They wanted to see that get defiled.
mm, yeah,
So there is that. Like
yeah,
there's so many angles to adult content.
yeah.
So I do agree with you guys that it is very risky making adult content when you have children. If you want future children, whether you're fucking single or not, if you want a life outside this shit, a real life outside this, it
Mm-hmm,
is going to be difficult, especially in this climate because it is so judgmental.
mm-hmm,
Like you could really be bending over in full clothing, cleaning fucking doorknobs, but they know that other people are buying it for sexual, sexually. So
mm-hmm.
little Billy could be like, "Well, your mom cleaned doorknobs, and dudes is jacking off to that." Like so, like anything can be used as a weapon when you're
So you're
doing it.
telling me, hold on. So you're telling me I need to do a OnlyFans and clean the baseboards? That's what you said. Like I'm just saying, because
I
I
mean,
can
just make
use a
sure
little
you bend
extra
over a
money.
lot. and
You're
touch
gonna
the
have to
sides
squat
so
in
they can
some of the
see you.
videos. You can't
Clean the
sometimes.
baseboard because that is very important. You can't
Yes,
be
it's important.
blocking what you're doing.
It's important.
It's
Sometimes
very
do it with your knees straight. Sometimes you bend your knees. Sometimes squat because it's good for your back alignment. So
Okay.
absolutely. And if you do it with incredible posture, that may be an extra $100 in your bank account, girl.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna get
Because these
ready now.
motherfuckers is paying for anything
yes, they are.
now.
Yes, they are. And Jessica, you talking about how jacked up your feet are. People pay for jacked up feet. Like you don't. Like, I'm gonna tell you because if they got a foot fetish, that's what they have. Now, usually it's gonna be pretty feet. Usually it's gonna be well oiled feet. Usually it's gonna be, but unique feet also get the treat too. So like people like when I tell you people are into that stuff, I don't like there's certain fetishes. I'm like, how? How did you get there? Like with the baby pamper and diaper thing. How did you get how? So, but it's not up for me to figure out because it ain't for me. So I just can't fathom how you get to a baby fetish. Like what at what point did you cross that line to adult baby fetish? I don't understand it. I don't look at a baby in any kind of sexual way. I don't
Right.
the pampers, none of that. Not at all. So for me, it's not for me to figure out because it ain't something that I plan on getting into. But that just tells you that all these different fetishes are out here, and no matter what it is, people will pay for it. People pay for it. So as extreme as you can think of to oily feet, like oh, in your case, what you said, the fat earlobes. I don't know, but I don't
Right.
know. But that's just neither here nor there.
But
But
either way, I just would like to, because I see where we're at the time, and I know how this is going to go. It's about to segue. As far as that goes, all I say is just be careful what you put on the internet. If it's not something that you're ready to defend, if it's brought back up, if it's not something that you want people to know, the internet is probably not the best place to put it. Now, if you don't care, or if you're willing to sit down with your children, your family, your friends, whatever, and say, hey, yeah, this is what I did, and blah 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 blah, and y'all can either like it or kick rocks. And if you're okay with that, then do what you do. But you have a lot of people who think that they can do something, kind of like what Dedrick was kind of premising in the first place, where you think you can do something and post it on social media and not expect to get judged by your peers, your family, your friends, because you're going to get judged. Some might high five you, some might say good job, great. Whatever you do is what you do. If you're happy, if you like it, I love it. But you can't get mad when other people judge your choices because you put them out on the internet. And once you put that out there, like once I hit send on a post, I know that there's going to be somebody that disagrees with me. And I'm ready for that. Whether it's that I defend it, whether it's that I listen and I have an open mind to what they're saying to me. But I know that there is a possibility that somebody may not share the same opinion, or they may judge me for something that I posted. And I won't post it unless I'm ready to defend it or to just be okay with it. Like, I don't care what you think. This is my feeling, how I feel, and this is what it is. And if you do comment on under one of my posts, especially when it comes to politics and religion, you better come ready to defend it, because I'm going to come ready to defend my side. And I have no problem with that. And that's why I can post those types of things, right?
right.
But again, you'd be hard pressed to find me with a picture with my butt face towards the camera. My sons are 12 and 13. This is just not something that I project to my children. And it's not something that when they get Facebook and they want to add their mom and they go through my history or a memory pops up, Like, yo, oh, you're friends with Jessica Fields and you're William Fields, and here's a picture of your mom with her ass poked out and taking shots and letting somebody spit in her mouth. Like, yeah, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. Even if I did that, now let's say I did all of that. Let's say I did all of that. That's cool because that's my private business. But I wouldn't put it on the internet for my children to see. No different than I would do it in front of them. Because the internet ain't going nowhere. I mean, unless, like the world is in and technology in. It's not going nowhere.
I'm
And
gonna say this. I kind of think Donald Trump for erasing a lot of my images due to the sex trafficking bullshit and me not verifying in time. So, there was a clean cleanse of that. I don't think he's ever gonna. Well, that opportunity is ever gonna happen again. So when I retire, I really don't have a lot of. I have like a whole, you can find me, but you can't find me on OnlyFans though. Like every single thing I ever did on there is gone. It's gone. It's just like you're doing this.
did you just thank Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I got that for the record. Okay.
Because he was just doing this, I didn't like him at the time, like real shit. I didn't learn to appreciate this wonderful gift he gave till much time later. But when he was doing this shit, I was very, very angry. I want to tell you this. The motherfucker shut down a whole fishing hole, girl. A whole fishing hole. And I was like, oh my God, just because of traffickers? Like my ignorant ass. Anyway, yeah, man, he shut some shit down. But when I retired to long goal wise, that it played to my strengths, like, cause a lot of my imagery got erased because I didn't verify in time.
Mm. Well, I mean, all I can say is that with the social media thing is that we have to be careful and stuff like that because, and like I was saying from before, you can't get upset when you get your reactions or you get the thing because you're gonna get regardless of what you post. Because I had someone that I used to perform improv with who I liked. She liked me. Great. We had a great little improv family. And I posted something. I forgot what it was, but she started. I think it was the trans thing I had spoke on and stuff like that. And I'm very very passionate about that when it comes to you forcing somebody to accept your lifestyle or whatever the case is. You're not going to force me to do anything. All right. I am a firm believer on allowing people to live how they particularly choose to live. That's cool with me. I ain't got no issue with that. I got a gay son. You understand? So I don't have no hypocritical thoughts when it comes to that, but you're not going to force me to accept a damn thing. You're not going to do that. And for me to sit there and say, well, one day I woke up and I felt like a woman, and then now you expect me to say that you're a woman. First of all, I'm not retarded. First of all, I'm not mentally ill. All right. That's the first thing. Second thing is I know the difference between a biological man and a biological woman. Just because you made a choice does not change your DNA. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. So, and then when Trump was, he made that the statements that he made about males competing in female sports and vice versa. I'm with him 100% on that because that's unfair to those young ladies who's been competing against their peers all their lives. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, here comes this dude with feminine mannerisms who is identifying as a female. First of all, you're still a dude. Like, what are you doing? Like certain things like that, I don't co-sign because my thing is when you fall for anything, you'll stand for nothing. When you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. And my thing is, I don't care. You do what you want to do with your life. If if you want to experiment in alternative lifestyle, do your thing. Got nothing to do with me. But once you try to force it into people's real lives and you affect their real lives, I got an issue with that.
I do got an issue with that because I don't know if that's like changing the story, but When I'm in these certain groups that I'm in, I'll say that certain groups
Right,
that I'm in,
right.
and you give like not I would say an unbiased opinion
Uh-huh.
and a biased a biased group or a biased environment, it becomes like you're attacking their damn thought process. And all I'm saying is I don't live like that. Like I live XYZ. I can understand in your POV if it worked for you, it worked for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't that wouldn't be the thing that I would do. Blah blah blah. Bullish, because it just don't fit my lifestyle. And one of the guys was trying to tell me that I ain't have no home training and shit. Like I wasn't trained well because I didn't conduct myself like his wife conducts herself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, your wife don't got no job. So I understand why she conduct herself like that. Because if I ain't had no job, I would do the same. So again, I have no bias. But there is certain things that just don't make no fucking sense. And if he was saying that, like, even if she had a job, she would be doing all these crazy ass things that, you would do when you have that time to do. And I just was like, yeah, that's too much. Like, I'm cool on that. But if that works for y'all, that works for y'all. Like, I just don't work for me. And that is okay. Because if I say, like, you're doing too much for your wife, I mean, your wife is doing too much for you, she shouldn't have to do, like, dude, who the hell am I to speak on your life?
Right,
If it is
right,
working for you, it is
right.
working for you. Y'all are happy with that. That works for you. It just don't work for me. And what I got going on, I don't think it would work for Miss Fields when she start working. Like the things are going to change because time. I don't got time for that. The time is going to change. People are going to have to be a little bit more independent in a household when you got two working parents. My grandma used to tell me this. I ended and I'll end my plan like this. My grandma used to say, "I'm not babysitting if the kid can't make a sandwich." And I feel like that works both ways because if the kid can't make a sandwich, how am I gonna go to work? You gotta at least be able to make a sandwich for yourself, so I could do other things, man. I land my plane.
I definitely understand. So, real quick, I'm gonna do this in the middle now, because I'm gonna go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors real quick and whatnot. Excuse me. So, let me do this little break real quick. All right, so our first sponsor is going to be Meet the World Image Solutions, where for all of your literary needs, the founder of Meet the World Image Solutions is none other than Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson. You can find her at www.mtwimage.solutions. No funny spelling. That's MTW for Meet the World. That's MTWImageSolutions.com. Guys, go over there, pick up some merch, some t-shirts. Summer's coming. Get y'all nice little t-shirts and stuff like that. Get your holiday stuff early. You know what I'm saying? Get a whole lot of stuff over there, man. She has some amazing merch. So go ahead if you're an author and you want author themed stuff. Guys, go over there. If you like wine, go on over there and get you some merch and whatnot. Yes, she got some merch with your wine stuff on there. We don't sell the wine yet, but I'm just saying. So go over there and peep in there and browse around and go ahead and snatch you up a little something and whatnot. Also, Mr. Crave's Cookies, where it's a party in your mouth. We have over 53. I think we're gonna have 54 different kinds of cookies and bars for your browsing pleasure. Throw your mouth a party, make your mouth happy for a change. You understand? When was the last time you threw your mouth a party? Don't answer that. So you can go to IG and to at Mr. Crave's Cookies as MRCRAVES cookies not .com, but at it on Instagram, okay? And browse around. Go ahead and follow, like tell everybody what now. I want all the smoke. Okay, Mr. Craves Cookies wants all the smoke. If you got events coming up, and we do ship, so don't think that just because you're in New York, you in Florida, you in California, we can't get you what you need. We got you. All right. We do ship all 50 states, guys. We're working on getting worldwide, but until then, all 50 states. So you can get your treats for your mouth. All right. So right back to our
I'm like, oh my God.
so
He's been around me too damn long. Yes, he's been around me too long. I done rubbed up off of him.
Flag on a damn plane.
listen, I'm
We
wired.
gonna have to work on this.
Yo, you got. I am going back on YouTube and I am clipping this part
Look,
ASAP. Like,
look, you just produced adult content and you didn't even know it.
oh my God, I can't with y'all. I cannot with y'all.
Wait till you see my merch, Jess. Wait till y'all see my merch, okay?
No.
My merch is gonna be awesome. My merch is gonna be awesome.
Oh,
Oh
Damn,
oh.
damn, sir.
Lord have mercy.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done. This Lord.
That's why y'all gonna love my
You ain't even know it.
huh?
I'm just repeating what she said.
That was funny. That was funny.
That,
That was funny what
that
she
was.
said. That was funny what she
I just
said.
wasn't gonna let you gloss over that because you really tried to move on. I'm like, no, no, let's be quiet.
Okay. Okay.
Oh God.
Oh,
I saw her looking away.
Alright, that's
Oh my
enough for
Lord.
you having morphine moments. No more morphine moments for you.
This is my regular wiring. I'm sorry it came out here, but this is my regular wiring. So
Okay. I'm done. I'm done
God
laughing
damn
now.
it, I knew that was gonna happen.
Lord have mercy.
Child, that commercial.
Oh man. Lord. Well, yeah, it is what it is, you know.
You ain't only fans, you cookie fans.
I know, right?
Cookie
I know,
fan.
right? Lord.
Oh God, I snorted.
Did you just snort? I'm sorry, but that always cracks me up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Ah,
Let me mute my shit.
I'm gonna clip that shit too. What you know that?
Lord have mercy. I thought she had ducks. I didn't know she had little piglets too. I ain't know. Thought she had ducks.
Yo, oh my goodness. I can't
Yeah.
with y'all today.
I thought she had ducks and stuff. I ain't know she done got a little piglet. I ain't know.
Well,
Okay.
good promo. Good promo. Okay. Best
Oh my Lord.
promo ever.
Lord have mercy. That's you know what, you know. So
He
oh
said,
man.
did you ever put something tasty in your? I don't know what the fuck. That shit was funny though.
You said ever what? What I say?
You said something like, did you ever treat your mouth? He's like,
Oh,
don't answer that.
oh yeah. Lord.
Ah, do you really put that in your video, in your commercial?
Say again?
So you really put that in your commercials?
Oh, absolutely. Because it's a tongue-in-cheek thing for adults. So that's how I'm marketing my merch. Because my merch is going to be innuendo-ish. Because
Okay.
my motto, my tagline for my business is it's a party in your mouth. So, and anytime I say that to people, and it don't matter who they are, they get the giggling, and that's what I want. I want this tongue-in-cheek little thing. Now, kids themselves, they're not really gonna get it, but adults, they know they're wired for innuendo. So that's how I want my merch. My merch, I want people to have fun wearing it. I want people to have fun doing that. So my merch, my hats. I even got some. I'm going to be having some shirts. You know, the off the shoulder shirts for women. Those off the shoulder tops that women
Mm,
wear. I'm gonna have some of those like that. I'm gonna have some all kinds of t-shirts and stuff like that, hoodies, all that stuff, hats. So I'm gonna have all that stuff so that it's fun to wear while they advertise for Mr. Crave's cookies. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
So I wanted
I
to
mean,
be.
in the name of Dave Chappelle, do not bring your kids. Don't put that on your kids.
Good. We ain't mad at it. We just laughing. That's all.
Right.
I was
But you
like,
don't, parents
wait
gotta
a minute. He
understand
just
not
did some.
everything for the babies, like
Right. I was like,
not
he just did
everything.
some adult content commercialism. Like,
It was
all right,
very
what we
adult
got
like.
there?
That's why I asked, like, is that within the template of the commercials? And he said, yeah. And I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, that's always
just
been
don't
it. It's
bring your
party in your mouth.
just don't put it on your kid. Don't have your teenage daughter talk about something. It's a party in your mouth and shit. Y'all be alright.
Oh God. Okay. Then what's the next topic? What's the next topic? Daughters and party in your mouth just don't sound right. Let's go on, move on, Lord.
So I got a question. Why do y'all think? I seen a video, and if y'all want to see the video, I can show it to you. It ain't gonna be as clean because it's gonna be on my phone. But my question to you, because I'm glad I got two women on the line, so on the stage. So and you guys might not make sense of it either, but I have to ask. So I saw a question. I saw a question, right? So I saw a video to where the gentleman, the young man, had found out that the child wasn't his on a more photos,
Mhm.
and and when he did, he got up and walked away, and the mama went running after him, and it really irked my spirit. I swear it did. It irked my spirit. I hate it when this thing does this, and it was right here. So basically, she's telling her, she's telling him, son. She's running after son. You have been you was taking this responsibility and stuff like that. You better stand up and do your responsibility. And I'm sitting here like, what the hell are you telling your son? First of all, you didn't address the main thing. The main thing is the fact that this girl has deceived and has put this child on him, knowing that there was a possibility there was somebody else. So now
Mhm.
he has to learn this on his own. He even married the girl because he wanted to do the right thing by the child and have a family unit because of the child.
Mhm.
And for this heifer to tell her son to keep taking care of a child that ain't his, I have a problem with that now. A lot of women, they won't have a problem with it, but I got a extreme problem with it. Because my thing is you're telling him this boy has a second chance.
Mhm.
What you're telling him is to continue to tie his finances, his life to a woman who is deceitful to him, who betrayed him, who you really
Mhm.
can't trust at that time, at this point.
Mhm.
She found a good young man who was raised decently. And that's why she gonna pin it on this boy. And when he found out, you can look at him and tell he was destroyed. But you're up in his face telling him, no, you need to take care of this child and take on your responsibility. First of all, that's not his responsibility no more.
And
Number one.
technically, that's not his. That's whoever her baby daddy's responsibility is. That ain't his.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm a boy mom. I am a boy mom to the
Mm-hmm.
core. To
Yeah.
the core. As soon as the paperwork said that baby ain't my baby, and I
Man.
and I do mean my baby as a grandchild. Oh,
Man.
son, yeah, fuck her and that baby,
Yeah.
and that baby.
Wow.
As my
And
mama would say, the canal connection is gone. She
right.
always talk about this canal connection thing. And in the words of my great and wonderful mother, the canal connection is gone. And
Mm.
you are not my family. So unless I'm doing charity And or unless my son really wants to you still take care of these kids like they his own, then yeah, fuck that woman.
Right. I'll say as a, I have a 12 and 11, soon to be 13 and 11-year-old boys. So I'm a boy mom, and
Mhm.
Monica surprised me. So like I'm like 2/3 of a boy mom, and I would not expect my son to continue to take care of a child that is not his. But like Morphine said, now if let's say he has a connection to these children or this child, it's been a long time. I ain't talking about like 3 months. I'm talking
Yeah,
about like
like
3 years.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, like years he's been in their lives. And he says, Mom, I know that the child's not mine, but I want to continue to be a part of her life. And I'd really like it if you would continue to be a part of her life as well. Then I would say,
Right.
okay, son. But the moment that he tells me I do not want to have this child as a part of my life, that ends it for me too. Even though it may hurt because I might have had a connection to that child,
Mhm.
but
Mm-hmm.
my son comes first, and he deserves to live with dignity and have his own children and have his own family and have that choice.
Mhm.
So me and Morphine are on the same page with that one.
Okay.
Now what
I'm
I
not gonna
will
sit here and
say is that if once my son make this crazy ass and I'm gonna say crazy ass fucking decision to stay, I will
yeah,
tell him he cannot renege. When you get mad at this bitch, when this bitch
right.
make you mad, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say bitch on YouTube. When you get mad at this woman, she makes you mad, y'all not seeing
Mhm.
eye to eye, you chose to be there. You don't get to choose to leave. Because
Right,
you had a choice to leave and you chose to stay.
right.
So
I agree with
stay.
that too. Yeah, I
Commit.
agree
Fully
with that.
commit.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. It's either it's all or nothing. If you're gonna
Yeah.
do it, you're gonna do it. If you're not
If
gonna
you're
do it, then you're
not,
not gonna do it.
don't do it. And
But
I'm gonna
don't
tell him
don't
now.
play this
Understand,
don't play this
you're gonna
game
be
of
dealing with
tag
this,
with
and
me.
these ain't
Yeah.
your biological kids. So whatever issue you gotta deal with, you gotta
Hmm.
understand this is what you chose. You chose, and
Right.
you sincerely. These are not your children. You are choosing these kids. See,
Hmm.
when a man has a child with a woman, he don't choose that. She chose to give birth. So you are choosing these children. That's way bigger than, them being your biological children. I definitely would put that in emphasis. Like, so
Hmm.
we staying? Oh, all right. We staying. We in here for the long run. We about to take this bitch for her money. I might take her kids. I'm that spiteful.
Yeah, like I said
That
again,
spiteful.
as long as we're on the same accord and you stick to the plan, if you say you're gonna be there, if you say, Mom, I love this baby girl or this baby boy, I want to be there for him, then fine, we're gonna be there for him. But you can't turn around like you said 6 months later, you're mad, and then say, oh, I'm not a part of their lives anymore. And then 6 months later, it's like, oh, I'm back in their lives. Yeah, yes, baby.
Right,
Yeah.
Yes.
because she done made you mad, and now you don't want to be with baby girl. The baby girl done got on the phone, and you like, oh, Mom, I'm going back. You freaking sucker. Then go
Yeah.
back home.
Yeah. 'Cause, I mean, and the reason why, like I said, I feel a ways about that situation, and it irks my whole entire spirit, is when these mamas, because they got a little soft spot for the child, they now lose their freaking mind, and then guilt trip the man, the young man into to staying or taking care of the child that ain't his. Women
Hmm.
do not understand how painful that is, because now you
Well,
are hold on, because and I say that with 10 toes down, because women, you know what, that it's your child, but when you've dedicated finances, time, energy, your feelings, your mind, and everything to that child for that little small stretch of time before he finds out that it's not his kid, that's a betrayal. And now you're telling your son to ignore that. That's no longer your reflection looking at you. That's another man's reflection looking at you. That's betrayal looking at you. You're telling him to ignore all of that and then just go ahead and blindly take care of this child because you feel the ways for this child. Of course, he feels something for that child. But if you're going to sit there and guilt trip him into something, no, you let it be his choice. You don't get to
Yep, I agree.
he needs to do. You don't get to tell him how he should feel. You don't get to do that because at that moment he's feeling all the pain, all of the betrayal, everything flood into that moment at one time. You don't get to tell him how he should feel or what he should do. No, you need to be telling him is this is your choice. You can love that baby all you want, but that's his choice because that's his money taking care of that child that you sitting there trying to put on him. That girl fooled him and believing that was his when she knew she slept with more than one guy.
So did you see the one where sure, I think we talked about it last week. The one where the sister invited the daughter to a party or a family event, and the guy had recently found out that that wasn't his daughter, and she had to be a good 5 or 6 at least. Looking at the video,
she was 6.
So I'm using that video as an example. So like sometimes we do grow, if she's 5 or 6, you have that attachment to that child, and maybe for yourself, it's not easy to let that go. So in that example, like when that was going viral, the only thing I really said is that if she wants to continue a relationship with that child, that's fine, but she needs to do it and not invite her to events where the the now not father is in attendance, because she knows how he feels about the situation. So she doesn't need to do that. Now, if she wanted to continue a relationship, I mean, and even that one is like, it's really, that's still bad to me. But I'm just saying, like, just at the very least, if you want to continue that relationship with that child, whether you're the grandmother, the mother, the auntie or whatever, then at least do it in respects to how that man feels about finding out that that's not his child. I mean, there's still going to be some bumps in the road, so don't get it twisted. There's still going to be bumps in the road because the man's going to probably be like, but I'm not even really rocking with that. But again, if it's on her own time, like, she gets off of work and she wants to stop by and see the girl, pick her up, take her shopping or whatever, then that's fine. But if you're having a family event and the man is going to be there, your brother's going to be there, then you shouldn't be inviting that child to the event, knowing how your brother feels about the situation.
And I, because this happened to me with 2 daughters that I thought was mine. One chick. So this is the reason why I'm extremely passionate about this type of thing, because and I'm a huge proponent for mandatory DNA testing at birth. I'm a huge. It has, for me, it should be mandatory, and it should be mandatory across the board. I don't give a crap if you're married or not married. It should be mandatory. My thing is that when the situation that Jessica's referring to, he comes from out of the background. He's like, what are you doing here? And your sister invited us to the party, blah blah. Hold on, this is not my child. First of all, the wound is clearly still fresh. And he said something to his sister and was like, why would you even? And she was like, it don't matter. Hold on. You just told your brother it don't matter that y'all blood. And you're going to go ahead and continue to support what's going on by inviting that little girl. Now, again, the little girl had nothing to do with what the mother did to him. Let's just make sure I make that plain. I am not a fan of treating the child bad at all. However, men's mental health matters too. When you sit there as a woman and ignore how that man feels, as his sister ignores what happened towards him, that was a betrayal towards your brother. That was a blatant betrayal. to the family, because now not only have you duped your brother into taking care of this child for 6 freaking years, you've reeled his family into embracing this child and all that stuff. So now the family is engulfed in this child too. How fair do you think that is? And then you sitting there talking about it doesn't matter what he feels about it. Now, for me personally, I would have left my sister's house. I would not set foot back in her house again. Because if you have loyalties to someone who is not your blood over your blood brother, me and you on a different plane now. I can't even deal with you on that level anymore. I'm going to distance myself because I see where your loyalties lie, and it's not with your blood brother. And you totally ignored how I felt about the situation and invited this child anyway. You didn't even give a thought to how I would feel about that, knowing that what happened. I just found out that this is not my child. And I'm going to tell you, my family cut them off completely, immediately. It wasn't no gray areas. No. My grandma started, when she told me that she didn't feel like the first child was mine. Of course, I was already in my feelings. It was 1 year after she was born. She said because something in her spirit told her that it wasn't mine. Because of the spirit that the girl's mom had. And she said, I ain't doing nothing else for that child. I ain't doing nothing else for her. And so 4 years, when I left, the oldest daughter was 4.5 years old. The youngest daughter was a little bit over 1 year old when I left. So for 4.5 years, I did what I was supposed to do as a father. And then when all these things started to come out and stuff like that, and things weren't matching up, I went ahead and she tried to put me on child support. I said, okay, we're going to get a DNA test. And when when that result came out about the first child, the second child already I knew about, because some information that come out, and come to find out she already had the white boy on freaking child support.
Oh wow.
And his family was going to disown him. The first child, wow. I just knew that was mine. I just knew that child because she had my skin complexion, she had my little personality. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it is what it is. It's just a formality. I just need to have the proof on paper. Man,
did it come out your child? No. The second one? I mean, the first one?
Neither one of them.
Neither one of them?
Neither
wow.
One. Neither one of them. So let me tell you something. That thing, that was the closest I ever came to hating another human being. And it was, and my grandma, she jumping for joy, and I'm in my feelings. Because my grandma already knew a year after. In her spirit, she already knew. And typically, I don't go against nothing my grandma said. But because
she already mourned the loss. Your grandma already mourned the loss.
Well, I don't think she mourned nothing. She just did not feel. She didn't feel.
I think Grandma mourned the loss that she knew that was not your child. She never grew attachment to for the shit to be like, super deep. But she mourned the loss way before you. Yeah.
But for me,
grandmamas always know. Matter of fact, think about it. Back in the days before we had DNA tests, what y'all used to do? Y'all used to take the baby to who? Mama.
Grandma.
Mama. Hey, look at this baby. And they be like, oh, no, that earlobe ain't right. And, we're going back to the earlobe. That earlobe ain't right. And, some of us, we got a 6 finger and they ain't got no 6.
Yeah, grandma look at that forehead. That forehead ain't ours. That ain't that. No.
That ain't nothing. That ain't not there, not our kin.
Yeah, but it's true. But it's and that was the hardest moment in my life. I had to deal with something that was the hardest thing I ever had to deal with when it came to that, because of the bond that I grew with that child, and I had to look that child in the face, tell her I loved her, and be good in school, and walk away. The 1-year-old, it really wasn't that big of an attachment, but that 4.5-year-old, that took my heart out. And then you want me to be looking at this child in her face, knowing that that's nothing. That's not even my blood in there. It has nothing. And she said, well, that's yours. After 4 years, that's your, you better go sit down somewhere. You're not about
Can
to
I
tell
ask
me.
you? Can I ask you a question? How
Sure.
many years ago was that?
Oh gosh, that was, oh man, I want to say 97.
Damn.
Not no,
So,
no,
Damn.
no, it wasn't 97. It was 99. It was
so have
I
you
was
like
10 years old.
2000.
how have you run across them or any information about them on how they're doing or anything like that since that moment?
Funny thing is that I ran into him when I went back home. I ran into Alexa. I ran into the oldest. Actually, I ran into both of them because they were together, and their mom inside Target.
Mm-hmm.
And it was I think 3 years after all, 3 or 4. It was some years. It was a handful of years after all that had happened, and she had grown up significantly, a little bit. And when I went into Target, they were standing in the food section or whatever, the cafeteria section. She looked at me like she recognized who I was, but she was unclear how to process it. Like how do I know your face? And so when she was looking at me, I said, I called her name. I said, hey, how you doing? And stuff like that. And I did not speak to her mother, and whatnot. And then I just said, good to see y'all. And I left. I left immediately. I didn't want to explain nothing. I didn't want to say nothing. I didn't want to make the situation awkward. I just saw them. She saw me. It was a moment, and then that was it. Ironically, the mother reached out to me several years later, asking for forgiveness, right? So, first she was reaching out, trying in my inbox, and I'm sitting here like, who is this person? Like, why are they trying to? And then when I realized who it was, because I went to their profile, I said, what do you want? So she's like, I can't believe you acting like that. Excuse me? You can't believe I'm acting like that. You represent the biggest single stain in my life, the most painful point in my life. And you asking me, telling me I shouldn't be acting this way? What do you want? I was just asking you for your forgiveness. I mean, I'm just asking you, and if you do or if you don't, it is what it is. I'm not. And I'm like, first of all, that's not how you ask for forgiveness. First of all, you don't even mean it. You're just saying it just to tell somebody that you did ask. That's how you coming across. You don't no vocal tone or inflection or nothing coming out of you. No, your whole energy is off.
I mean, she asked forgiveness for herself, not that it was to resolve her guilt. It wasn't so she could actually get forgiveness from you.
No,
She didn't want to feel guilty no more. She wanted that energy on you. She didn't want to carry that bitch no more.
well, see, what she didn't know is I forgave her years before. I've been forgave her because my grandfather counseled me. He was a bishop. He counseled me, and we always talked about what forgiveness meant and how powerful forgiveness was. And for me, I was not about to hold myself hostage with what I had in my heart for this chick. And so I literally prayed about it, and how I knew I had released myself from her and had actually truly forgave her was because it got to the point where any woman that had her name, any car that looked like her, anything that was relatable to her, it just totally had my mind gone. And that's how I knew I released myself, when nothing else affected me anymore. When it came to her, I didn't care whether or not she lived or died. As long as she was out of my freaking spirit, I was good. And once I prayed about it myself and I came to terms with what happened, I processed everything. And that's how I knew I truly forgave her, because no longer did anybody with her name bother me. No longer, if I saw the same type of car, bother me. No longer did that happen. It only irritated me when she reached back out to me to even talk to me after doing something like that to me, and the way she carried the whole situation. But
the way she carries herself in talking to you, like it was no like she had no empathy for her, like
right, no
like
remorse.
I don't know what remorse. That's the word.
Because my thing is when you if I came to you and I knew I did you wrong, and even if it took me a minute, a year, 2 years, and I really needed to show you that I really beg your forgiveness and I really need that from you, and I'm so sorry for what I did to you. It wasn't right. Like there's an onus that you have to come to yourself when you come to another person to ask them for forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain humbleness you come to them with because you the one that perpetrated the hurt against that person. So I got to come to you in such a way where you literally know I meant what I said. You know in your heart, based off of the energy I gave you, based off the humility I came to you in, based off of my humbleness, based off of the words that I tell you, that's going to tell you and show you that I know why it was wrong. And I know that it was how it affected you. It's a certain way you come to somebody when you ask for forgiveness. None of that energy came to me when it hurt. It was just like, well, I'm just telling you so you can take it or leave it. That's basically how it was.
Yeah, like Morphine said, she wasn't coming for your forgiveness to make amends with you.
Right.
She was trying to clear her conscience.
Right.
So she can say, well, I asked him for forgiveness.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, whatever he do with that, that's what he do. Right?
Yeah.
Which I'm a segue for a real short period. That's why I don't accept a lot of apologies. The only apology I accept is change behavior. And even once you change your behavior, you're still not going to get the same Jessica that you had the first time.
Absolutely.
I promise you that. Because I'm going to keep you at an arm's length. I might forget. I might say, hey, yeah, thank you. I appreciate you apologizing to me. Okay. Have a nice day. And I'm going to keep you at an arm length. That doesn't mean I can't be friendly with you. I can't converse with you, but you're not going to get the same Jessica that you had before when you fucked up whatever you fucked up.
I agree.
And a lot of us need to learn that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's I don't care if it's your mama, daddy, cousins, friends. It don't matter who it is. If an apology does not come with change behavior, do not accept that apology.
Absolutely. Everybody needs to know that. Everybody needs to understand that part right there.
Yeah.
It has no age and none of that.
Yeah. I agree. And since then, I haven't heard anything but the girls they look good or whatever the case is. But when I left that situation, I told them and their mother because her mama cut up something awful. But and then even denied that DNA tests are accurate. Like how you
of course.
Like what? So out of everything, and even my grandma, even she denied at first. Her mama denied, saying certain things to me, and because I related to my grandma at the time, and she kept denying it. No. So what I did was she called the house before one time, and when she started up on the phone, I just handed the phone to my grandma. My grandma didn't say a word; she just let her talk. And then after she finished talking, she said, "Oh, so you supposed to be saved and sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, huh? And that's what coming out your mouth? That's what's coming out your mouth." Now I've heard it for myself. Now I know my grandson don't lie. He ain't gonna lie. And he definitely ain't gonna lie to me. So now I've heard it for myself. And now I know what you are to be. And she told that woman to her face she didn't like her. And guess who came to my grandma's funeral?
Did she come?
When I tell you her mama came to that daggone funeral, I got out of the limousine and looked her in her eyes like, why are you here? My grandma told you she didn't like you. So why would you come to a funeral of somebody that don't like you? You're not welcome here. I'm gonna need you to leave. And it's like people like that, they irk me, and stuff like that. Like that just bothers me. So going back to the initial thing with this mama trying to convince the son to take on this type of responsibility that ain't his, she's dead wrong. That's not your call. I don't give a crap what you feel about the baby. Now, if you want to do stuff outside of the realm and outside of the circle of your son, that's on you. That's on you.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that. However, that's no longer your son's responsibility. And you just let
Absolutely.
that girl off the hook. The girl who deceived your son, you just let her off the hook.
But that's just like when I be watching like Lauren Lake. I do love Lauren Lake because sometimes she go in and she go in hard. But then there's sometimes she's like, well, you love that baby all this time, and just because you're not the father doesn't mean you can't still be there. And I'm like, that's his choice. If he walks out and says, I don't want anything else to do with this child, that is his choice. Don't
That is
try
his
to guilt
choice.
him. But it's almost like she tries to guilt them into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're the only
Shame him
father
into
they
it.
know, and you should
Mm-hmm.
really
Shame
be
him
there
into
for
it.
them. And I'm like, no, because I wouldn't. You're a boy mom. I'm a boy mom. Would you accept that for your sons? Obviously not. Now, if he decided, if he said, "Ma, I really love this child. I've been in his life for 9 years. I'm not going nowhere," and then I'd be like, "Okay, son, no problem. I support you." But never in the history of motherhood would I say, if my son said, "Well, Ma, he's not mine," so I don't want to be a part of his life no more. I would not tell my son that he had to be a part of his life because that's
Right.
not your bloodline. That is your.
Like my
But
mama said,
here's the
the
hold
next
on real quick,
generation.
real quick. Here's the twisted part of it, and this is something that needs to be worked on within the law and legislation and government. Because guess what? That man who's been there for 9 years, who's been there for 6 years, guess who's going to be held financially liable for that child, regardless if the DNA test comes out that it's not his. That man is. If he signed that birth certificate, if he's been in that child's life for 5, 6, 9 years, that's that man's child legally.
Which is crazy. Which is
Which
crazy.
is
That's real
crazy.
crazy. That's real crazy.
Because
Because
if I was a judge, and the DNA test came out and it said that it wasn't his, I'd be like, okay, you owe him some child support, and we're gonna go ahead and take him off of child support. And now he is no longer financially responsible for this child. Go find your baby daddy.
cut and dry. Yep.
Easy peasy.
Yep.
Lemon squeezy.
Those are the things that I don't understand, how these people in these courts can make these decisions and influence these men's lives. You're literally changing this man's life.
There was I know y'all saw it. I think it was I don't quote me. I think I want to say it was in Detroit. The man had never even met this child, and he was at he was about to go to jail for back child support.
Yeah.
Because he hadn't paid child support, but she just listed him as the father. And then even when the DNA test came back, they were still trying to prosecute him for this back child support. I think since then the case has been dismissed and he doesn't have to pay.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it just shows you how far the law will go to, I don't even know what to say, like to do whatever the fuck they do. Like, that's not right. If the DNA says it's not a child, it's not a child. He's not responsible.
And she admitted.
I think what Jedrick said, you should be able, they should be testing them at birth, and that should come out to the taxpayers' dollars, since we pay for that shit anyway. So I'm sure we're gonna be cool with that. So that should just come out from the jump, so you don't even have to worry about this shit. So as the baby is born, you got it tested.
Listen, I offered DNA tests, and I'm married, happily married. I offered DNA tests for each and every one of my children to my husband. Each and every one. Because I know them, they're mine. I watched them get cut out of my stomach, right? I know they're mine. I didn't have any experience with the motherhood of vaginal passage, but nevertheless, I still gave birth to 3 beautiful, magnificent children. but I knew they were mine. And I always asked them, I said, do you want a DNA test? I didn't have nothing to hide. And of course, Billy, he said, why are you even asking me that? No, just like whatever. But because he trusts me, obviously. And but again, I never had nothing to hide. So it's like I feel that men should know just as much as us women know that that is definitely their child before they sign any kind of paperwork and take responsibility for that child. That should be like Dedrick said earlier. I don't care if you're married. So what, you're married? Hell, married people cheat damn most. DNA test. Maybe not necessarily mandatory, but maybe it should be something that is discussed with the young men when they go into the room to sign it. Hey, before you sign this document, just know that you will legally be responsible for this child for the rest of your damn life. So if you have any doubt in your mind at this moment in time that this could be your child or not be your child, we have this DNA kit here that we can offer you. And it might be covered under your insurance, it might not be, but hey, guess what? $200 versus $200,000 in 18 years may be worth it. So
Well,
if you don't feel like that you're the father of this child, like, or you just don't want to know or whatever, then okay, you go ahead and do what you do. But here are your options.
but here's my problem with that. My problem is human feelings. My problem is guilt tripping. The mandatory part takes all that away, and it doesn't. It makes it so that he has no choice but to find out. That's where I stand with it, because if you make it mandatory, feelings ain't got nothing to do with it. This is what the state mandates that you do. This is what you have to do. The girl can't do nothing about it. The boy can't take the hit to say, "Oh, you don't trust me." No, we take it off of his plate. We take it off of his feelings, because if he's been with this chick during her pregnancy, a whole lot has been going on to where he feels obligated now at this point. When you make it mandatory, you take all those feelings away. Now this has to happen.
I understand what you're saying. I do. I really understand what you're saying. But let's say, for example, let's say a doctor went to Billy. Like I said, I'm gonna use myself for an example.
Okay.
I offered Billy, hey, you sure?
Mm-hmm.
You can get a DNA test anytime. I want you to be sure, because I don't want no thoughts later on about something being different.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, no, I'm good. So isn't that kind of infringing on somebody's rights, where if he says, well, I don't want a DNA test because I actually do trust my wife, and I know that I'm that child's father. So, and this is just a long shot, of course. So well, how does that infringe on that person's right?
Well, here's the thing.
Where they're kind of like, but I don't want a DNA test, but you're forcing me. Kind of like, I don't want an abortion, but you're forcing me. Or hey,
I don't think
the child, but
the difference.
I don't. Wait. Let me. Can I please answer that, Dedrick? Can I please answer that for you?
Go ahead.
So I don't think a genetics test should be taken that way. You can want to take it that way, because I'm gonna say that's when your pride gets in the way.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, them doing a genetics test for your baby does not prove that that's your child. It could also help with other genetic deficiencies that your child may or may not have.
Absolutely.
Because and whatever the fuck the kid is got, like your baby that come out your belly, Jesse, whatever's going on, and that baby is tethered to the fuck you, because they have no genealogy on the father at all. So why wait till something is wrong with the father, something's wrong with the baby, to figure out whether y'all got the same genealogy? And this can help you to know that's your kid, but this can also help your kid understand their own health risks, whether they're risk at cancer, whether they're risk at fucking blood pressure. Like they can't just keep sourcing from their mother.
And that's a very good point. That's a very good point. I'm just saying, so it's but where, like, so if you make it mandatory, so let's say it was mandatory, and let's say Billy was like totally against it. Like, I don't want you to test my child. I know that's my children. This is my wife. I love her. And you know what? Even if it ain't my kid, it's still whatever the situation may be. I get what you're saying, and it makes perfect sense. So don't think I'm discrediting that. It makes wonderful sense.
Yeah.
But so if the point is that when you make things mandatory, sometimes kind of like when you make things mandatory, like it's mandatory for me to call you they and them and mix and mixer and all these other things.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of you kind of you start to cross a boundary that some people might not want to cross when you make things mandatory.
Well, here's the
So
thing.
that's why,
Because their
real quick.
pride, though.
Wait,
Their
real quick.
pride is in a
So
way.
that's,
It don't even have to be logical.
but that's
That's what
why
I'm
I
saying.
said but that's why I said maybe not maybe not mandatory, but I give this example all the time when I talk about this situation. Every single time that I've given birth to my children, the nurses would send my husband out for something frivolous, like, hey, can you go get her some ice, or or we have to do this procedure and you cannot be in the room in the time of this procedure. And in the time that he was gone, they would ask me questions. They would ask, do you feel safe? Is there anything we need to know? Are you being abused? Do you feel for your safety when you leave the home, when you leave the hospital with this child, right? And I think the same process should kind of be applied to men where it comes to the paternity, because I can only speak for my experience. Every single time that the birth certificate got signed, I wasn't even in the room. They took him.
I get what you're saying. Are you saying give them a choice? Don't take their
Give them a
choice
choice.
away.
Don't just say, here's the paper, sign it, you're the dad. It's, hey, before you sign this paper, I need you to know that once you sign this paper, you are legally obligated to take care of this child for the rest of their life. And if you happen to find out 6 years down the road that this is not your child because you signed this paperwork, you're still going to be financially responsible for this child. So
Because
here's
I
an
gave you a
option.
choice. I gave you what you
Here's an
said.
option. We can do a DNA test right now. Look, the mama ain't even got to know.
Right.
Let me swap. If you just sign on this dotted line right here, we will do a DNA test before you sign the certificate. And if the child is not yours, guess what? He's not yours. You're not obligated. If the child is yours, you come back, you sign the birth certificate, and life goes on. They're not given that option. I asked Billy that one time. They didn't ask him once. They did not ask him once if he had a doubt that child was his. They just asked him to fill out the name, dates, birth dates, mama name, your name, and sign on the dotted line. They did not one time ask him, do you have any doubts that this is your child or not? Would you like a DNA test?
Let's see that what you're saying, Jessica, does give it a different wrinkle, and it makes sense in that way, to seemingly give him a choice and stuff like that. But what I'm explaining to you from a man's point of view, when you're with a woman for a specific period of time and a pregnancy happens and you're in that situation, you're in that moment, what you're trying to do is you're trying to be a stand-up dude most of the time, and some guys are going to take that opportunity to go ahead and get one. If you're going to put it that way, the way you put it out there, most guys are going to go ahead and say, yeah, go ahead and do that. Yeah, that's fine. However, if you make something like DNA testing mandatory for children, it's going to do a number of things. Number one, it's going to curb a lot of this deceptive stuff going on. That's the first thing. The second thing is that a woman is going to think twice before she tries to pin, this baby on the guy, the stand-up dude has been around, and not the thug that she creeped out on him with. You understand? He may not even know that even happened, but because he has an allegiance and a loyalty to her, He's not even gonna. No. That's mine. I know. That's all feelings. That's why I said it takes the feelings out of it. I love her. Love ain't got nothing to do with it. The truth don't care nothing about your feelings. So if it's a mandatory thing, you take a whole lot of stuff off of his table. He don't have to decide whether or not he want to do this, or you don't have to preface that, hey, now if you sign this and you find out 6 years later, no, you don't got to preface none of that because it's mandatory. Mandatory means right now. Right now, go ahead and put your finger. I got the baby's information already, and we'll be back. Like if it's just that simple, he doesn't have to think about anything. All he has to do is wait for the results to get back, and if they're good, great. If they're not so great for her, because now he's not going to be tied a year, 6 years down the road to a child that's not even his, where he could have redirected his life someplace else after he found out the first deception in that moment. It takes all of that.
And I completely understand where you're coming from. And because also you experienced this, unfortunately, and I'm very sorry that you experienced that, I can understand your passion about it. I'm just speaking about the few that maybe don't want that. Maybe they don't want the mandatory testing. You know, you think about your Amish community, or you just think about religious people that says, I don't want you to test my child, because guess what? I trust my wife. So sometimes when you kind of like when you kind of like when they made masks mandatory to go into certain facilities, right? Like some people didn't feel that they needed masks. Some people felt that they didn't work or whatever, whatever their thought process was. But we all have feelings about certain situations. So I think that there are some men, even though I do believe, like mama's baby, papa's maybe, I do believe that everybody should get a DNA test. Exactly why I offered my husband of 16 years DNA test on all 3 of my children. But at the end of the day, if he refuses, he shouldn't be mandated to do it, if that makes more sense.
I understand what you mean.
So I'm speaking for the few. I'm just speaking for the few. Like if I say I don't want a DNA test on my children, then you shouldn't automatically do it, because that does infringe on rights. Now, again, unfortunately, due to the high amounts of you are not the father, do I think that they should be mandatory? Yeah, I can get with that. But then you still have to have that provision for those that say, no, that's not what I want. I should have the option to say, I don't want a mandatory test.
Yeah, they can sign a waiver then. So
yeah, a waiver or something to say, I don't want it. You offered it, and guess what? Whatever happens after this is on me. But I said I don't want it, and I don't think that I should be mandated to do such a thing. That's all I'm saying as far as mandatory. Because that kind of tap dances on like people's rights.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and end the show because I got to get out of here, skedaddle, because I got a big event tomorrow morning. So I got to bake all night. So
let me guess, you got to go get some eggs.
Get some eggs.
Go to the store?
No, I got the eggs already. I got the eggs.
Oh, you got the eggs this time? Okay.
Yeah. I had to.
Can I get a sample? I need a sample. Since you shipped and all that good things, I need a sample.
You need a sample?
Yeah.
We had some. They good.
I need the cookie man to sponsor me some cookies.
Okay, well,
so I can tell all my friends.
Oh man, we gonna see what happened. We gonna see. Stay put for a second. Let me go ahead and end the show. Thank y'all so much for coming. And hope you guys got some shine out of everything that we were talking about today from different perspectives. And thank you so much, Morphine, for joining the stage. And thank you, Miss Fields, as usual. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But stay put, ladies, and whatnot. Thank you guys once again. Join us next week at 8:30 Thursday Eastern at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And we will be back. Talk to y'all soon.